What's up, ladies and gentlemen of the interweb? Let's talk about Yakuza essentially being confirmed for the Switch, but not really at the same time. So what do I mean? Sega has recently said Yakuza, Sonic, and Persona are all going multi-platform, so that is leading to everyone to believe that that means Yakuza and Persona are coming to the Switch. The next day, Persona got announced for Switch right after they said that, and now we wait for Yakuza, but there's some problems that we run into with Yakuza on the Switch that I have answers for. 1. The creator of Yakuza said Yakuza would never be on Switch, but he's not the boss, so that's fine. But now that Sega is losing a ton of money, I think it's safe to say that he's the first to say that Yakuza needs to be put on the Nintendo Switch. Number 2. Will the Switch run Yakuza? Contrary to popular belief, Yakuza is not a heavy, intense game. I mean, it looks amazing, but it's not an intense game. But however, it is a big game with Yakuza Kiwami 2, which is regarded as the best Yakuza since Yakuza 5. I don't think anyone's going to dispute that except newcomers, but no one cares about their opinions. That game clocks in at 38 gigabytes on the PlayStation 4. And Yakuza 0, which has a mixed opinion, as in newcomers love it but fans of the series don't, that doesn't really matter, but it has a file size of 23 gigabytes, which isn't bad because the average Switch cart is 8 gigabytes or 16 gigabyte, so a large amount of the game would have to be downloaded, so maybe neither of those two games would make it, but the older games have a better chance where they have smaller files and can do more with. Yakuza 5, which is 22 gigabytes, could honestly be, compacted down to the 16 gigabyte size and it would be fine. Yakuza 4, which is only 21 gigabytes, could do the exact same thing. Yakuza 3 is only 16 gigabytes as is, so if they can compress that down just like another gigabyte smaller, they would be golden. Those games, like I said, can all be compressed graphically to fit on a 16 gigabyte cartridge fairly easy without having to, compromise any part of the gameplay, or at least get close enough to only maybe have a gigabyte or two to be downloaded. Yakuza Kiwami could also come in, as that game is only 20 gigabytes, which would be pretty easy to compress down to a happy size. Maybe not hit that exact 16, but it would be able to hit at least 18, 17, so it would be pretty good. But that leads to the third issue presented. Would Yakuza do well on Switch? Well, judging that the Switch is the only console that games sell crazy good on, then I would say it has a good chance, especially since a lot of time has changed since Yakuza was last on a Nintendo console. The last time Yakuza was on a Nintendo console was the Wii U, but since the Wii U release of Yakuza, the PlayStation Company and the Xbox have all completely died in Japan, like to a point of no return. And it's so bad that now it's flopped. Like, it used to be Yakuza sold like a king in Japan, which this isn't Yakuza's fault, of course. But now that's like opposite. Now it sells best in the United States and pretty bad in Japan. That change in Japan is partially due to the rise of handheld gaming, which is why the Switch is on track to outsell the PlayStation 2, so by porting Yakuza to Switch, it would effectively save Sega, and Yakuza in general, because it would sell 2 million copies easy on Switch in year 1, while on PlayStation a Yakuza game is lucky to sell 1 million copies the entire console generation before Japan's big home console crash. So I think Sega shifting focus to multi-platform is a really good idea. Now let's recap Sega and Switch and what we know so far. 1. Sonic games sell best on Switch. 2. The Sega Genesis collection sold best on Switch. 3. Sega Classic sells best on the Switch. 4. The sales of Shenmue HD proves people do not care if a game is Yakuza Kiwami 2 levels of realistic or Sega Dreamcast 1999 levels of realistic. People just want more ways to play their favorite games. And number 5, the Switch is slowly becoming the go-to game console, the same way the Nintendo 64, Nintendo Wii, NES, PlayStation 2, Xbox 360, and all those other great consoles did. Now, a lot of people, like myself, have become a Switch primary console person, but that's because, we're getting older. Now people have work, people have college classes, and so when we now have the ability to play on the go, that makes, a big difference, especially when we're too tired to sit in front of the television. We play the Switch laying in bed or any other event you can think of. So in conclusion, if all the insiders are right and Yakuza is truly coming to the Switch, then that means Sega is about to make more money with Yakuza than they could ever imagine with the series, and they should be going full force to put Yakuza on the Switch, and if they don't, then they are literally insane. I mean, at least give Switch Shenmue and make a quick 15 million off it. The Switch version would sell like crazy. And then Yakuza would make at least 30 million on the Switch, of course. Why would they sell so much better on the Switch, you may be asking? The Switch is a story-based gamer-focused console, where PlayStation is online shooter-focused and Xbox, I don't think anyone knows what's going on with them this generation. But anyways, this needs to happen. Yakuza on Switch would be a perfect fit. One, it would be the first time it would sell great on anything. And two, it's just time. Exclusives are stupid. When you're, making games exclusive, all you're doing is handicapping yourself. Like, there are some games that having it as an exclusive makes sense. The Last of Us, Uncharted, Mario, Zelda, Halo, Forza, those things make sense to just be exclusive. But when you're a third party dev, it makes no sense to make your game exclusive to anything. Octopath Traveler should be on everything. Yakuza should be on everything. There's no reason for exclusives at this point in time. But with that being said, would you buy Yakuza day 1 or day 2 when it comes to Nintendo Switch? Eventually, most likely. Let's be honest, it's coming to the Switch, we just gotta wait for it. I would buy it day 1. But with that being said, try not to die. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.